Hey, Shalom, Akim Shalom. Giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakorash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And a sincere Shalom to all the hopeful elect out there. Shalom. So I was watching a TikTok not too long ago of this Edomite lady complaining and crying, talking about how she makes 34 an hour, but, she's still struggling, this, that, and the third. And I can't really find the whole video, but it was like a video of a lady talking about this lady's video. you know and of course there's a lot of people on TikTok right now, Jakes and Edomites, complain about the cost of living. All right, but for us, this is just part of the curses, man. All right, we're going through our punishment because Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, deals with us as with sons. All right, but these dirty Edomites, man, they fell into their own trap, man. And I'd like to go into that right here. Okay, this is Sirach, chapter 27, and verse 26. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that setteth a trap shall be taken therein. You see, because these Edomites, these so-called white people, man, have been setting our people up to fail since this nation was created. And even before this nation, we were in captivity under the Greeks and the Romans, which are also Edomites. Okay, but here in America, after slavery was so-called abolished, all right, we were subjugated into hoods, all right? And then you could even read about Black Wall Street when, our people were actually doing better off on our own than with these Edomites. They went into Black Wall Street and started, killing and doing all type of wickedness, man. All right, and killing our people, and you never hear about that nowadays. Okay, but the point is that these Edomites, they have systematically set our people up to fail, man. All right, and you can even look at what they're doing now with these so-called white people from Africa. All right, Donald Trump is considering them refugees and bringing them over here because, they're going through so-called racism in Africa. All right, as if the so-called white man didn't invent racism, man. All right, and technically racism, the Lord is racist, and we're supposed to be racist. Really, it just means, and we get the definition of that real quick. Characterized by or showing prejudice, discrimination, and antagonism against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized, right? Typically, but not always, because, the Israelites, we're supposed to be racist against our enemies, okay? And our enemies are described in Psalms 83, okay? And racism is really just about being for your own people. All right, but these Edomites, they take racism to a whole nother level, and that's what I meant to say earlier, in case you didn't follow me. But that's basically what I was saying is, these Edomites, they take racism to a whole nother level. Like the scriptures say, they oppress a man, even a man, in their heritage, okay? But yeah, man, they're getting a similar treatment now in Africa, and now they're crying, you see? And now they want to come to a country where whites dominate, because in a country where these so-called Africans are dominating, right, you see, these white people don't get that privilege that they do here in America, so they want to leave. All right, and Trump's going to give them a free ride over here. All right, just so you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, can see that this devil, Donald Trump, all right, he is a racist, man. Yeah, he gonna bring a bunch of white people over here for free, all right? But so-called Mexican that risks his life, damn near dies at the hands of the cartels and whatever, just to get over here, to work some dead-end job to provide for his family. All right, he gets thrown into a prison camp, and his wife and children are taken away from him by Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And what does he do? The so-called white man just invents a technicality. Oh, well, it was a mistake, you see, but there's nothing we could do. You see? You know? Let's read this again. Sirach 27 and 24. Salakia 26. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that setteth a trap shall be taken therein. Right, and these Edomites that fell into the trap they created, man. All right, they created this system to oppress the poor. Okay, they created this system so that the elite Edomites, all right, which the elites are Edomites, okay, can get, the majority of the cash. But it's gotten to such a point where even now you have regular, everyday so-called white people struggling. You see? And that's what happens when their race rules the world. A race that is the most base of all men. Even their own people can't stand them. They can't stand themselves, man. You see? And the scripture says, he who is evil to himself, to whom can he do good? You see? So, yeah, man. The scriptures don't miss. Verse 27, he that worketh mischief, it shall fall upon him, and he shall not know whence it cometh. Right? These so-called crackers, white trash, they're completely clueless as to what the hell is going on, man. They over here thinking that, so-called blacks are the reason why these white people are struggling, or so-called Mexicans, we took all their jobs. You see? And they don't even know the jobs that the so-called Mexicans took are the jobs that nobody wants to do. Picking oranges and grapes for $5 an hour, man. 12-hour shifts, no breaks. That's the type of shit that y'all so-called white people ain't doing that. You wouldn't last a day. You see, because like the scripture says, man, he shall not know whence it cometh, right? They don't know that it's their own fucking people doing it, man. These damn devils. All right? Verse 28, mockery and reproach are from the proud, but vengeance as a lion shall lie in wait for them. Right, and ultimately, they're going to be destroyed by Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Once this man, Esau, the so-called white man, pushes the MOTB for buying and selling, the mark of the BEAST, right, the MOTB. What is the MOTB? The MOTB is the RFID chip. All right, it's technology that gets inserted underneath your skin of your hand, and it will be mandatory for buying and selling. All right, and an alternative to that MOTB, or Salakia, to the hand MOTB is the one that goes on the forehead. Okay, that's Neuralink. All right, that's the main brand with the brain computer interface. You also got Synchron, who's doing it, and many other companies are doing it now as well. Okay, which these run-of-the-mill Edomites, they're gonna fall into that trap too and get destroyed by Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, but this is also a fulfillment of the scriptures that says that these curses that we suffer are gonna begin to fall on our enemies, man. Let's get that real quick and close out, Lord's will. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7. And Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, thy power, will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Right, these same curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter that, Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans have been going through. Okay, being raped, being robbed, being murdered, all right, being in slavery, perpetual slavery, okay, being the last ones hired or the first ones fired, being at the bottom of society, being called a byword, right? We get called niggas and spicks, wetbacks, right? Being falsely accused, being looked at as a menace when we're actually the children of the light, and the menace who rules this world is looked at as an angel of light. They even call themselves white. When they're not white, they're red. You see, that's why the devil, is portrayed as a red goblin with horns. All right, which that's not the devil. The devil is actually these so-called white people, man. All right, but they got the color red correct, okay? Because these so-called white people are not white, they're red. All right, they're translucent. You can see the blood through their skin. You see? And they call themselves white, which white means pure. And they're anything but. And they call us black. They call us Latinos, right? What is black? Black is a color, and it's symbolic for darkness and evil, okay? These so-called white people, they're the true blacks, you see? These Edomites, you're black people, you see? You people that rule this earth, that have all this privilege, you have your all-white governments and rulership, you're black. Every last one of you are black. You understand that? All right, you so-called, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you got to stop calling yourselves Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. All right, we're Israelites. We're the children of the Lord. And in due time, the Lord is going to set up Yahweh Shai to rule this earth, man, and we're going to rule it with him. We're going to be the upper echelon of society, man. We're not going to be at the bottom of the barrel. All right? Deuteronomy 30:7. And Yahweh, thy power, will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Right? And this is the beginning of the fulfillment of this prophecy. Even on this side, you got so-called white people out here struggling, crying, because $30 an hour can't give them a luxurious life anymore. You see? They got their full-time jobs. They in these different clubs, where they treat Jake like shit at work and get away with it. They get away with damn near get away with murder. But even they are oppressed now because the squeeze is coming on, man. Now they can't afford a speedboat and a yacht. Now they got to settle for a decent car. And you got some Edomites that don't even have a car, man. You got a lot of Edomites that, in the reincarnation, they were slave owners. And on this side, they're trailer trash. Some of them are homeless. And call Allah Yahweh Shem Shai for that. And that's only the beginning. That's only the beginning of your punishment, Esau. Okay, because this is not fully fulfilled yet. When Yahweh Shem Shai returns and we put chains around your necks, all right, you and your fucking children, all right, that's the beginning of Deuteronomy 30:7. And Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, thy power, will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them which hate thee, which persecuted thee. All right, so stay up, Yasharallah. All right, prophecy is jumping off the pages, and it's going to continue to intensify right into Jacob's trouble, which is going to come, when a lot of people least expect it, man. All right, but we're looking for this day every day, man. All right, so when this finally pops off, all right, remember these scriptures. All right, remember Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. Because not only is it the time of Jacob's trouble, all right, but it, a time, let's get it. Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, right? It's going to be such a terrible time that Michael's going to have to stand up and defend us, all right? That's where that spiritual power comes in. That's when that standard's going to be lifted, all right? So that we go from ordinary mere mortals to superhumans, okay? Because they're going to have, these Edomites are going to have their robot armies. They're going to have all their different troops. They're going to come down with great wrath, man. They're going to have their drones, their bombs, their lasers, experimental weapons. And they want to force everybody to get this MOTB, man. But that's when Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai is going to step in. He's going to send Michael to stand up. It says, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was, since there was a nation, even to that same time, right? So that's, even though this is going to be a time that's never before been, okay, a time so terrible and of great temptation, right? But what else is it going to be? The rest of it right here. It says, and at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Hey, so through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, we look forward to Jacob's trouble, man. This is when we're going to be delivered out of this hellhole, out of this shithole, out of this nightmare, all right? Yeah, It's got to get worse before it gets better. Ripping off the Band-Aid, skin and everything. Hey, but that's it. After that, there's no more, man. All right, so this is the last and final test, man. It's going to be in the midst of Jacob's trouble, that MOTB. All right, and Jacob's trouble itself is a test. All right, but yeah, man, stay up for that. All right, keep praying, keep believing, keep the faith. I pray that lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect, giving all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakurash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth, and a sincere shalom to all the hopeful elect out there. Shalom to you all.